Hello hammerheads, thanks for tuning in. Christy interrupted, I'm jealous. I bought this the other day, right? I've been smoking some of it. It's very, very smelly and very strong. But no doubt it's full of insecticides and pesticides. I don't know where my pipe is, but I bet you if I smoked some, it wouldn't go white. But you've got all them different variations. Never mind. Just been looking for this book, right? Very rare it is. It's called Action, the Story of a Violent Comic by Martin Barker. Now the cheapest one I can find is £66. The most expensive one is £106. I mean, that comic, right, it was brilliant. I remember when it first come out in 14th of February 1976. That was the first edition. 7p it cost. Every Saturday. It ran most of the year, up until 26th of October. It was withdrawn, banned, thanks to Mary Whitehouse and the Sun. Because this comic, Action, was directed at boys. I mean, there'd been nothing like it previously, you know, comic-wise. All the other comics were like adventure stories and, you know, this targeted just normal working class boys and, you know, and it was brilliant. Very gory, very, very, very violent. Aye. I mean, it dealt with, like, political issues and issues of the time, you know what I mean? And futuristic ones as well. And, you know, a lot of issues like that running through each story. Oh, it's too adult for boys, this, oh, let's ban it. The Sun once, right, there was, on the letters page, it was all dedicated to that. All the mums and parents are writing in, oh, it's disgusting, it should be banned. My son's not reading that. The media even dubbed it the 7p nightmare. For God's sake, man, it's coming to something when they take a comic off the shelves, innit? When they relaunched it a few months later after it was banned, it was really watered down, you know. All the blood was gone, all the violence was gone, all the political themes had vanished. I mean, they did borrow heavily off Hollywood in a lot of it. For instance, Hookjaw was like ripped off Jaws, but it had a big harpoon sticking through its jaw, hence its name. That's because somebody tried to catch it and, well, it ate him, didn't it? I mean, there was environmental issues running through that, Hookjaw, because it was killing all these bad men who were polluting the seas, you know what I mean? He was a sort of anti-hero, Hookjaw. I remember the first edition, the centre pages, it was just awash with blood. Yeah, Hookjaw, that was the central character of Action. And then you had Dredger, based on Dirty Harry, I think. You know, unconventional way of dealing with criminals, you know, just blow their heads off and stuff. And then you had Death Game 1999, heavily based on Rollerball, the film. All these convicts are playing this game of spiked wheeled motorbikes and, you know, studded gloves and sports not for losers. I remember that. It's about this lad who's a bit of a jack-the-lad and that, and his big brother persuades him to become a track runner, you know, a hurdler. And then you had Look Out for Lefty, about a 16-year-old footballer. It wasn't your traditional, like, Royal Rovers kind of thing. It's quite violent in parts. There was a big, massive football row in once, a big riot between rival fans and that. And bottles being smashed over people's heads and stuff like that. Oh, it didn't do the comic any favours, because it virtually mirrored the football violence of previous months. You know, Aston Villa supporters against Glasgow Ranger supporters. And then, of course, they brought a new story out, Probationer, about somebody who's innocent but the law doesn't care, and he's on probation and he keeps committing crimes because of his stupid mate. And another story, what started in it later on before its demise, Kids Rule OK. Yeah, about a plague that wipes out all the adults and all these teenager thugs and bikers and that running the bloody country and stuff. I mean, I remember the very first square of that story had this kid kicking an old man in the face while his two friends hold him. It's like, what the fuck? I think that story eventually sealed its fate, that comic, published by IPC. Yeah, because it was just getting more and more violent with each bloody issue. There was 36 issues in 76 between February and October. And guess what? I had every single copy. My brother ripped them all up out of spite because we had an argument about table football when we lived at Mask by the Sea. If I still had them now, they would have been worth a small fortune. I didn't have the one that was withdrawn, because that, oh, there must be a few floating about somewhere. That'll be worth a bomb and all. 76, the summer of 76. What were you doing in summer of 76 apart from shoplifting? Oh, I was indoors reading very gory comics. Yeah, brilliant that. I've been looking around on eBay for some copies of that comic. Action is brilliant. Later on it merged with Battle, so it was Battle Action. And it wasn't very good anymore, you know. I mean, it had lost its legion of fans because, you know, they toned it right down. And people weren't interested anymore. Turned into an adventure comic then. Yeah, it's brilliant. I'm going to get that book. My favourite story in it was The Running Man. It's brilliant about this British Olympic runner who goes to America for a race. The mafia frame him, change his face with plastic surgery so he looks like a New York cop killer. So they go after him instead. So he's got to find the real killer to prove his innocence. That was really good, that. Crazy Luigi with his axe. Aye. Look out for Lefty. Kenny Lampton, I think he was called. What other stories was in there? A lot of them I didn't read. I always read my favourite ones though. When it was relaunched in a milder format, had a good story in it called School for Survivors. And basically that was a rip-off of Lord of the Flies, about this ferry that sinks and these thugs go to this island followed by the typical school geek, Specky Hewitt. And the leader of the thugs was called Joey Slade. I'll never forget his name. And it's a battle of wills against them two gangs, really. And brilliant. I'm going to start buying them comics if I can. I'll find them here and there. Yep. The same company, you know, the same publishing company, IPC, launched 2000 AD in 77. But they seemed to get away with the gore in that because it was a futuristic comic, you know. Anyway, hammerheads. See you later.
Got things to do, people to see, people to murder.